Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the question be now put.
I'm going to call Andrew Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This afternoon and this evening has reminded me of an experience I had in the mid-80s when I visited East Germany. And when you go through Checkpoint Charlie and you go to East Berlin, and you see in those days how there was a total absence of democracy, a sterile, dull, grey, faceless society where the people had no say, people had no rights. It was all done by a handful of people back in some sort of a bunker in East Berlin, and they lived their lives in misery. And when I look at this bill, this Local Government Act, and I look at these parts 1 to 3 and what's proposed here, it's almost like this country is moving into the realm of where some of those Eastern Bloc countries were 20-odd years ago. And you wonder how they've come about this when they themselves admit that they know nothing. Rodney Hyde, when he was the Minister of Local Government, came to a mayoral forum meeting in Auckland, sat with the mayors of Auckland, and he said, and I quote, "I don't know anything about local government. You're going to have to help me through here. You're going to have to work with me because I really don't know what I'm doing. So to the mayors, please work with me and help us through this." That was having released a 34-page report which overruled an 800-page report from the Royal Commission on the Auckland governments, which had something like 30 international advisors, which spent nearly $5 million preparing an extensive report on how Auckland would be restructured. And within 9 days of that Royal Commission report being released, having taken a year and a half to prepare, the Minister at the time of Local Government, Rodney Hyde, threw it out and replaced it with a 34-page photocopied handout to say this is how local government in New Zealand is going to work. And right up the back of Rodney Hyde, right up the back, pulling the strings like a puppet, was John Key with his hand up one back and Nick Smith with his hand up the other back. And they were both manipulating him because Rodney was the puppet and he was doing their bidding. And it was very interesting because prior to that, when they announced what they were going to do, I was called to the Prime Minister's electorate office in Helensville to be given a pre-briefing. And he called each of the mayors, and Bob Harvey turned up first, and I was asked second, and Penny Webster third. This is about this, that they know nothing about local government. They know nothing about local government.
Look, the member, we're on a bill, and the member must tie it back to the clauses 1, 2 and 3. Andrew Williams.
Okay, well, clause 3, which talks about the powers and roles of the mayors and how they're going to change local government so that the mayors will have far more executive powers in this country and can basically take on their councils and do what they want to do. Well, John Key said to me, sitting in his electorate office, he said, well, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. And I said, oh, so, John, is this along the lines of your private members' bill of 2005-2006, where you always planned to do this anyway? And he looked at me, he looked shocked because I had outed him, and he looked at Jonathan Coleman sitting beside him, and Jonathan Coleman sitting right there, and he said, what's he talking about? And Jonathan said, oh, you remember your private members' bill? It never got picked from the ballot, but we don't need to worry about that. But basically, I outed John Key at the time.
Point of order. Point of order, the Honourable Nick Smith.
And so it shows...
Order. There's a point of order, the Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr. Chairman, you ask the member to bring his comments back within the context of Clause 1, 2 and 3. The member asserted that Clause 3 deals with the mayoral powers. Clause 1, 2 and 3 only covers... No, it's not. It's a matter of what is the content that we're debating. We're debating the title
I thank the member.
and the committee.
I thank the member. That's not necessary. Now, order. I'm on my feet. Now, to Andrew Williams, I mentioned before that you must tie in the piece of legislation we're dealing with now to clauses 1, 2 and 3. Andrew Williams, you've got a minute remaining.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. But it boils back to talking about clauses 1, 2 and 3, that basically this government knows very little about local government. And isn't it interesting that tonight Paul Goldsmith, Nikki Kay, Michael Woodhouse and Maggie Barry twice have all tried to close the debate down and have it stopped. Now, what does that say to you about democracy in this country? What does it say to you that half of the National Party people that have spoken tonight have either said nothing or they've tried to close the debate down? And I say to New Zealanders out there listening to this tonight, is this the democracy you want to live in? That all they want to do is close down the debate. They don't want to hear about what is happening. They don't want to hear about local government's concerns. They don't want to hear the likes of Lawrence Yule, a good National Party mayor from Hastings, who's saying this is wrong, this is not good for New Zealand, this is not good for this country. And unfortunately, what we're faced with, Mr. Chair, is a situation here where local government is being undermined in this country, undermined by the former Minister Rodney Hyde, undermined by the current Minister David Carter, and will be undermined by the next Minister of Local Government, Nick Smith.
Jackie Dean.
Yeah, I move that the question be now put.
The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 64, the noes are 57. The vote will be put on clauses 1 to 3. The question is that clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 60. Clause 1 will stand part. The question now is that clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 60. Clause 2 will stand part. The question now is that clause 3 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Ayes. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Māori Party.
3 votes opposed.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
Act New Zealand.
1 vote in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Members, the ayes are 61, the noes are 60. Clause 3 will stand part. I will report this bill with amendment presently. Members, we now come to the Advanced Technology Institute Bill. The question is that Part 1 stand part. This is debate on clauses 3. Hang on, sorry. This is debate on clauses 3 to 5.
Chairman.
I call Dr. Megan Woods.